נפש אב הרחמן משוך עבדך אל רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו הים ישתחווה ירב לו ידידותה מנופת צוף וחותם אדוני זיו העולם נפשי חולת אהבתה אנהלנה רפנה לה בהעולה נועם זיווה אל תתחזק ותתרפא והייתה Tolom yai da dai 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 Shabbat Shalom Kahal, Shabbat Shalom virtual audience at home. We have a nice audience, a nice Kahal here in the sanctuary. And at this time, it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce our Kahal to our guest, Rabbi Adam Greenwald. Shabbat Shalom, Adam.
Shabbat Shalom, Carl. Shabbat Shalom, everybody here and there and everywhere. It's good to be with you. We start the Shabbat service, the Shabbat experience, with the prayer that Carl just sang, Yedid Nefesh, which is a love song. It's a love song directed at God, because what better invitation could there be to Shabbat than to put us in a mind frame of love? There's a meditative practice from the Eastern traditions called metta, which is loving kindness meditation, a practice of consciously calling to mind people in our lives who we want to be sending love and good wishes to. I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes for a moment and to picture one face from your week. Somebody who maybe is a little bit weary, somebody whose road has been a little bit tough this week. And to do what we so casually say we'll do in text messages and Facebook posts, to send love. Let's take a moment to send love to someone in specific, so we can start Shabbat from a place of loving kindness.
Kabbalat Shabbat begins on page 11 with a call to come together and sing. Let's go. Lechu niranina, lechu niranina, lechu niranina, l'Adonai. Lechu niranina, lechu niranina, lechu l'Adonai. Naria, Litzu Yishenu, Nikad Mafana, Bitoda. Naria, Litzu Yishenu, Bismiho, Narialo, Lechuneranina, Lechuneranina, Ladonai, Lechuneranina, Ladonai. I invite the Kahal to repeat after me on page 12 at the marker. Arba'im Shana Akut Bidor Vahoma Amto Elevov Heim Vehim Lo Yadu Derachai. Together, Asher Nishbati V'api Im Yavon El Menuchate. Psalm 96 on page 13. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom Liyom Yeshuato, Tzapu Vagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim Niflotav, Ki Gadol Adonai, Umehula Meod, Norahu, Al Kol Elohim, Kol Elohei Hamim Elilim, Vadonai Shamayim Asa, Hod V'Hadar, Lefanav Oz V'Tiferet, Mikdasho Havu l'Adonai, Mishpechot Amim Havu l'Adonai, Kavod V'Oz Havu l'Adonai, Kevod Shemo Seo Mincha Uvo Lechatzrotav Adonai B'Had Kodesh. Ya'aloz Sadai V'chol Asher Bo Ya'aloz Sadai Ay 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 Az Yiranenu Kol Atzeya Az Yiranenu Kol Atzeya Ya'aloz Sadai V'chol Asher Bo Ya'aloz Sadai Ay 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 Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishpot Haaretz Yishpot Tevel B'tzedek V'yamim Be'emunato. Turn, if you will, in your Sidurim to page 16 in the Chatimah for Psalm 97. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Or Zarua Latzadik Ulishvelev Simcha. Or Zarua Latzadik Ulishvelev Simcha. Zarua Latzadik Ulishvelev Simcha, Ulishvelev Simcha. O Zarua Latzadik Ulishvelev Simcha, Ulishvelev Simcha. O Zarua Latzadik Ulishvelev Simcha. Zarua Latzadik ולשרי לב שמחה. הודו לזכר קודשו. Turn, if you will, please, to Psalm 29, because we take requests here. And I ask the congregation to rise for Psalm 29. מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני בני אלים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני הדרת קודש, כל אדוני המים אל הכבוד הרים, אדוני המים על מים רבים, כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני על זהב ארנון, ויקידם כמו עגל לבנון, וסריון כמו בן רמים, כמו בן רמים. כל אדוני חוצת לעבודך, כל אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול אל איילון, ויחסוד יערות, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד, כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך בעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יבורך את עמו בשלום. You can sit down. On page 22, Ana Bakoach, after a long week of being tied up at work, at being tied up in meetings, after being tied up in traffic, we prepare to greet Shabbat, the Shabbos bride, by beseeching that these knots that tie us up are undone. Ana Bakoach, good lad ימינך, תתיר צורה, קבל רינת, עמך סגבנו, תארנו נורא. Ana Bakoach, good lad ימינך, תתיר צורה, קבל רינת, עמך סגבנו, תארנו נורא.
invited us at the outset to send love to somebody who's weary and in need of love. We come to another love song, Lecha Dodi. This one picturing, imagining Shabbat as a beloved making their way toward us. This time I want to ask you to call to mind again somebody to send love to. But this time, not necessarily somebody who needs love because things have been hard, but to call to mind somebody who is for you a source of love. Somebody for whom loving is easy. Bring them to mind as we sing Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat in the light of a beloved.
Lecha Dodi, lecha kalo, yavabai, 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 pere Shabbat, mikabela, ay, lecha Dodi, lecha kalo, yavabai, 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 pere Shabbat, mikabela, shamo v'zachu, b'libo echad, Kishmihan El HaMayuchad Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet V'Litila Lecha Dodi Lecha Kalo Yavabai 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 Penei Shabbat Mikabela Ay Lecha Dodi Kalo, yababai, 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 pere Shabbat, mikabela, likra, Shabbat, lecho v'necha, ki meko habracha, merosh mikedem, nesucha, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha dodi lecha kalo, yababai, 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 pere Shabbat, mikabela, ay, lecha dodi lecha kalo, yababai, 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 pere Shabbat, mikabela. Melech Yimelucham Kumitzeim mitoch hafechad Rav lach shevet b'yemek avacha V'hu yachamo alayich chemla Lecha Dodi lecha kalo yababai, yababai, yababai Pnei Shabbat mikabela ay, lecha Dodi lecha kalo, yababai, 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 pnei Shabbat, mikabela. Please turn to page 25 as we change it up a little bit. Lecha Dodi, likrat kalo, pnei Shabbat, mikabela. והיו שישה שוסייך ורחקו ומבולייך יוסיס עולייך אלוהייך ימסו שטן אל גלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ביד אדוני תערי איצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובתהילה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. יאי די יאי די יאי די 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 יאי די יאי די יאי די You can sit down now. Having greeted the Shabbos bride, the Shabbos queen, with love in our hearts, as Rabbi Adam has wisely directed our kavanah, we sing a song for Shabbat. Mizmor shir yom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor shir yom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר יום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר יום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק התמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בשבע, דשנים ורעננים יהיו. להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולתה בו. עדותיך נאמנו מאוד, לביתך נא בקודש אדוני, יורך ימים. And that is Kabbalat Shabbat. Thanks. Nice to share it with you, Adam. Kaddish Yatom is found on page 30, those observing a yortzeit or in mourning. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, v'yalma divra kiyutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach v'yolam u'lolnei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei dekudashav, birchu. Le'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma, v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel yimeru. Amen. Kahal, it's my pleasure to bring to you our teacher tonight, Rabbi Adam Greenwald.
Better for the cameras if I'm over here?
Yeah.
For the cameras. In Hollywood, after all. Carl, that was a beautiful Kabbalah Shabbat. Thank you for that. Thank you to everybody who's here. Meaningful. See you all. It's really meaningful to see you all. Since the beginning, our people have been storytellers. Long before rabbis started giving formal sermons, we told stories. And so it's been my custom now for many years that when I'm invited to speak on a Friday night, I come with a story. I want to tell you one of my favorites. Once upon a time, as all stories must begin, there lived a young boy who never stopped asking questions. He asked questions of his parents, his teachers, his friends, strangers on the street even. As he grew, his questions grew with him. And by the time he was a young man, he was asking the biggest question of all. To everyone he met, he asked, "What's the meaning of life?" Eventually, they decided that he should be sent to another town where there lived a rabbi who was famous for his wisdom. Maybe he could get answers to his questions. And if not, there would still be some peace and quiet for everybody else. The young man set out on a journey and went straight to the rabbi's home. He was so excited to finally get the long-awaited answers that he barely knocked and just burst into the living room, overflowing with desire to ask about the meaning of it all. The rabbi listened kindly and then said, "I think I can help to provide you with some of the answers that you seek, but first, you've traveled this whole way, and have you made any provision about where you'll stay, how you'll live while you're here studying with me?" The young man paused and realized he hadn't even given it a thought. So the rabbi said, "Go build yourself a house and come back to me when you're done, and then I'll tell you the meaning of life." What could he do? The young man went and acquired some lumber and some tools and built himself a little home on the edge of the forest. He was an unusually handy Jew. It wasn't perfect. It sagged a little bit and leaned, but it was solid enough and warm, and it was his. He returned to the rabbi and said, "I have a house. Now, please tell me the meaning of life." The rabbi considered and said, Certainly, but first, do you have a job? I mean, what are you going to do to support yourself? Find yourself a job and then come back, and then I'll tell you the answer." All right, what choice did he have? He went to go apprentice for a local baker and learned to make bread and cakes and all sorts of other delicious things to eat. He woke up very, very early in the morning, and the muscles in his arms grew stronger through kneading all those mountains of dough, and the heat of the ovens left him drenched with sweat by the end of each shift. But he came to love the sweet smell of baking bread and the smiles on children's faces as they came into the bakery and surveyed the sweet treats, and he was fulfilled. He returned to the rabbi, sure this time he would get his answer. "I have a nice home and a good job. Can I now know the meaning of life?" And the rabbi said, Sure, but you must be lonely, right? All by yourself in that little house by the forest, all by yourself, eating all of that bread all day. Do you have someone to love? Find yourself a partner and then come back together and I'll give the two of you the answer. By this time, he had learned better than to argue, and so we set out in search of love, as all people must. This took a little longer than building a house and getting a job. He made some mistakes along the way, got his heart broken a couple of times, but finally, he found a person who accepted him and cared for him, and he for her. The two of them returned to the rabbi, and it was apparent that it wasn't actually just two, but three on the way. This time they really knew what to expect. The rabbi promised them answers, but first blessed them that the pregnancy should be healthy and told them to return together as a family. Some years passed, and at the rabbi's door stood a young man and his wife and a little girl with beautiful, soulful eyes. They sat in the parlor and had a cup of tea. And the man asked, "At long last, can you tell me the answer?" And the rabbi shook his head and simply said, "Wait." More time went by, and word came to the town that the young man must return to his birthplace at once. His beloved grandfather was dying. So the children traveled together and arrived just in time for the old man to meet the lovely young wife and child and to bless them all together before he died. And they all wept for him. Sometime after they arrived back from their journey, the man, who was now not so young, came to the rabbi and said, "It's been many years since I first arrived with my questions. I can see now I wasn't ready then, but I am now. Please tell me the answer." And the rabbi smiled and said, "You came here wanting to know the meaning of life. What can I tell you that you don't already know? You built a house and you made it a home. You found satisfaction in the work of your hands. You stretched your heart wide enough to include another person and continued our people's story into a next generation. You faced loss and allowed yourself to mourn. Never give up on asking big questions, but know that it's only through the living that you'll find the answers for yourself." Tomorrow we'll read in the Torah that when God presented the commandments to the children of Israel, they respond, "Na'aseh v'nishma." We will do and we will understand. And the rabbis famously comment that at first glance it appears they have that backwards. Generally, shouldn't one first understand a task and then set out to do it? But the thing is, my friends, that's only true for the little tasks. For the biggest things in life, we learn by doing. We learn about love by loving. We learn about loss by losing. We learn to live by spending each day really alive. Each moment in our life comes to be our teacher, and understanding usually only comes when we look back on where we have been. There's a version of religion that claims to have all the answers. If you just read the right book, say the right prayer, consult the right sage, then the secret will be given to you. That's not my religion. My religion, our religion, is a religion of questions, of love and loss and life, of finding sparks of holiness in the chaos and the clatter of the everyday, of hopefully inching just a bit closer to whatever we consider God in the process. I am grateful for sacred communities like this one, for fellow travelers on the journey to meaning. For a lot of us, we've been walking side by side for quite a while now. May we keep living the big questions together, and may we gain some wisdom along the way. Shabbat Shalom. Marif begins on page 39, and we rise.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Elam v'hei. You may be seated. ומביא יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Page 40. עבר עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויארך ימינו ויארך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשברך, והיה עם שמות תשמע על מצותי אשר תגל אשר פקדתם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Let's turn to page 43b and 44, and let's read together in English. You proclaim the covenant on the seventh day You declared it and decreed it. We listened and heard it. You loved this day we inherited, delighting in its remembrance, and began its command with the word remember, Zachor. From the time you bestowed it, joy filled the hearts of Jeshurun, the people you redeemed, securing the cause of righteousness. You exalted Shabbat as a sign between us forever. In 6 days your world was formed. On the 7th day you rested. And on this day, Israel, your people rest. To honor your name, they sing songs of praise to the one deserving of praise, willingly accepting God's sovereignty. Then Moses, Miriam, and the people Israel joyfully sang to you, "Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness, revered in praise, working wonder?" They sang Michamocha, Michamocha, Ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha, Nedar Ba'kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Pelep, Nora Tehilot, Oseh Pelep. מלכותך רבניך בוקר יום לפני משה זה אלינו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 45. Hashkifenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Vehamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim. Hashkifenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Vehamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim. Ushmor Setenu Uvoenu Lechayim Leshalom Me'ata V'ad Olam Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ועל כל יושבי תבל. We rise, page 46. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. והנה shel yomim asa Adonai el hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashvi shava vayinafah. Yikada Shemei Rabbi B'yama Divra Kirutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon U'v'yomechon U'v'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala U'v'zman Kariv V'meru Yehei Shmei Rabbo Mevorach Le'olam u'la'olmei hamaya Yiparach v'yishtabach V'yitbahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar V'yitaleh v'yithalal Shmei Kedusha Le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nehemata Tamira b'yoma v'meru.
The Amidah at nighttime is said silently. It begins on page 47. If you track the words, that's fine. If you come back instead to loving kindness, that's fine too. We'll take a few silent moments for prayer in whatever way your heart moves you to pray.
Ose shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. page 53. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzva'am vayechol Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayakadesh oto ki vo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim laso. Page 54. Yikadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi v'yamad yivrakiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh v'chayechon v'yimechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agalo v'zman kori v'yimeru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbo mivorach le'olam ulal me'al maya yitborach v'yishtavach v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yidalev v'yidhalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yalma v'yimeru Tikabal tzlot hona v'od hon d'chol Yisrael kadama v'hon divishmaya v'yimeru Yehesh lama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu yokol Yisrael v'yimeru Oh, se shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'yokol yoshvei tevel v'yimeru Amen. Well.
You can be seated.
Yes, of course.
Carl, in putting together this service, suggested the lovely tradition of including the blessing of children in the service, and we do have some people who are here together with their kids, little or big, and some people who are thinking about their kids who are not here, sorry to disappoint, and some people thinking about kids who are far away, and some people who don't have kids who could also take this opportunity to send blessing to people that you love. Mm-hmm. Wherever you send blessing, it's needed. It's the only medicine with no side effects. So send it where it needs to go. If you have a child here who you would like to bless, take a second to do that. And for all others, take a moment to send blessing in your mind and in your heart.
Adam, I'm going to say blessing out loud to my sons because they're watching. Simcha Elohim ki Ephraim v'chi Menashe. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmarecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
I don't want Gracie to feel left out. She's not watching. Yisamech Elohim kasar Rivka rechav alea. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. Yasem lach. Shalom.
Amen.
Kiddush is on page 76. Rise with me. Vayehu Hashemayim v'aretz v'tzva'am v'hal Elohim b'yom hashvi'i melachto asher asa v'yishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa v'yivarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i v'kadesh oto ki vo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot savri chaverai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabat kodsho v'yahavav v'ratzon hinchilanu zikron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikrayei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabat kodshecha v'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. We remain standing for Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kugayeh haratzot, v'lo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו רואים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אמת מלכנו, אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת אין עוד אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We recognize the yahrzeits of the following congregants and their loved ones. Pearl Superior, the mother of Barbara Swart, Jack Kirkus, the father of Sue Stern, David Petoskey, father-in-law of Dr. Feldman, Zarenja Sahati, mother of Cyrus Farivar, Laura Tonkin, mother of Donna Poonen, Arthur Acton, father of Norma Shaw, Leon Katz, father of Stan Katz, Barbara Heyman, wife of Ed Heyman, Jacob Sitz, grandfather of Lila Weiner, David Miller, brother of Nathan Miller, Stella Goldsmith, aunt of Lynn Levine, Melvin Bacher, husband of Carol Bacher, George Novikov, stepfather of Suzanne Levin Herrera, Helen Slavitt, aunt of Marcia Sklar, Bert Adler, husband of Barbara Bain, Shania Goldwasser, mother-in-law of Ann Bialy, Martha Kelly, grandmother of Sean Kelly, Fanny Sampson, grandmother of Chalky Sampson, Jacob Miller, father of Ruth Kahn, and Martin Sher Hernandez, son of Judy Hernandez. Those in mourning or observing the yahrzeit, page 58.
I'll add that this week is the first yahrzeit of my grandfather, Lou Lachter, who once came to daven and learn with us a long time ago in this place. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chaye echon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudisha.
Baruchu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
May the ones whose memories come to mind today be a source of blessing for us and for all those who love them.
Amen. Announcements. I don't have a sheet of announcements. So all I'll say is tomorrow morning, services begin at 9:30, and Rabbi Adam will return and be our leader tomorrow with Cantor Amy Katz. It will be live streamed, of course, and you're invited to come and sit in the kahal here as well. I think you may need a reservation, but anyway. And Hebrew school, Rabbi Adam. On Sunday morning, we will stream Hebrew school for those of you listening, and Rabbi Adam will be a guest rabbi on that stream, so we will share the screen together once again. Our teacher once again, Rabbi Adam.
Just a final word. Ask if you could please stand. In a moment, we'll conclude with a song, but I want to invite us to a final blessing. If you feel comfortable to close your eyes, you can join me. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, God and God of all those who came before us. We ask your blessing on this Shabbat, that it should be a day of reconnecting with each other, with you, and with what matters most. We ask you to keep us aware, humble, and grateful as we walk the journey of our lives, that we may gather wisdom from the road. May those who are dealing with illness, with loneliness and grief, find a measure of comfort this week. May our joys be enhanced by our gratitude for those gifts. May we be blessed with a week ahead of life and of love and of peace. Yehi shalom b'helech, shalva barmanatayich. May there be peace in our hearts and in our homes. May we all say, Amen.
You may be seated. And in that spirit, may the good angels visit your home and visit your soul. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem v'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, B'melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzechem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai rai rai, yai rai rai rai, yai rai 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 rai, yai rai. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.